Okay, hello and welcome back to Stone Block episode 3. So, I've done a lot in between episodes. First off, got a bunch of materials that we're going to put into the washers. I are also made some auto hammers, which are relatively simple actually. You make an iron auto hammer with an iron hammer, some gold, some glass. You combine that with a gold hammer, some more iron, some redstone. Then you combine that with a diamond hammer and do pretty much the same thing, and you just get free resources. So it's pretty cool. And that's just going into that, which is going into the millstone, which is milling using a water wheel, which is then going into a crystal chest with all the resources. It's only been going for a little bit. Then I also have multiple cobblestone generators over here, just pumping cobble in here just in case I need more resources, which is how I ended up getting all of this stuff. I had to go through a bunch of hammers, a bunch of stuff, a bunch of wands. And now what we're going to be doing is taking all this dust, and I think it's dust that we take. Yeah, we bulk wash the dust, which should give us some relatively good resources, right? So we chuck it all in here, and then what we're also going to do while that's happening is we're going to take the materials that need to be smelted, and they're going to go right there, and we're going to bulk smelt them. And once that's taken care of, then we'll be able to just get a bunch of really good resources, just be really happy, and hopefully get through some more quests. So what we need to do is we've got a bunch of random rewards to claim, but we also need to first make Tinker stuff, which is going to be what this episode's all about. We also need soul sand, which is conjuration essence, or haunting, which is soul fire, or that, I don't fully know. Also, I'm gonna have to remember how to do chickens again, which is crazy, but we need stuff. So conjuration essence, I don't know how any of that stuff works, but that stuff's washed, that stuff's smelted. Of course, the zinc didn't go all the way in, so it didn't smelt all the way. But we got quite a bit of good resources from that, so I'm happy about that. Of course, bone meal's gonna be great. And now, it's time to wash a bunch of sand. And all this sand is just gonna go right into the washing station, and ideally, we'll be able to get all this stuff washed off into the other stuff that we need, just so that we can get more and more. Because, well, we need the sand, we need washed sand to get clay, and then I need to, actually I should probably make sure to save that sand after it's done. Also, that zinc is smelted, so we'll take that. Also, you can twerk to grow glow lichen, which is pretty dope, to be honest. So that sand is done, and then we're gonna keep those last 2 stacks for that, but also I'm gonna need to get, we're gonna utilize this crystal chest for this loot from now on, because it's gonna take way more than just this double chest. So all of our ores and alloys and other stuff that's gonna get grabbed from all this is gonna go directly into here, because otherwise it's just gonna take up way too much space. But now we have gravel to wash. Of course, we gotta save 2 full stacks of it, and you know what, we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna save 4 stacks, and then I'm gonna do 2 more stacks, because we've got to go, wait, 3 stacks, so we only need 4, and then this stack is gonna get put down, like placed down, not like we're not gonna kill it. And then we go like that, then we go back, and that is until we get down 1 full stack, which is 15, 6 more, so we're gonna put this all down by hand, which is all that. And then, you know what? I realized that this was a mistake. Okay, well, now we've got a stack of dirt now, so at least that's taken care of, That's a little annoying, but it's okay, because now what we can do is we can get that full stack of dirt put down, then we have a secondary stack of sand, which is perfect. That can go in there, the gravel can go in there. Then we need an actual stack of gravel. And then now we combine that to get 2 stacks of grout, and then we get 4 stacks of grout, 5, 6 stacks of grout. Then all this stuff is going to get put into these iron furnaces, which are hopefully not going to get completely overgrown over the course of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to put torches on the front of things for them to not get overgrown. And we're just going to chuck one full stack of grout into each of these, make sure it's full of, you know, charcoal, because charcoal is one of the best resources that we have at our disposal for, you know, fuel, because charcoal is really simple, really easy. I'm going to continue to make a bunch of it and then craft it up into blocks, and I'm going to store it in here. We also have one extra crystal chest, which you get crystal chests from going and finding loot bees, which sounds absurd because it kind of is, but loot bees are actually genuinely probably the easiest way to get early game loot, so I would highly recommend it, especially for getting like a diamond tier stuff at the very beginning. It's going to be super helpful. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to chuck, you got wrong things, but you know, it'll be okay, because we've got 5 minutes to pick up stuff, and that means that this gravel should smelt relatively quickly, or should smelt. What am I talking about? This stuff should smelt relatively quickly. Hopefully, right? Because this is the stuff that's... and that's why we keep that clear. Anywho, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk over here, we're gonna look that way. It should work perfectly. It didn't, but you know, it was close. Shoot, I just picked up everything, didn't I? Wait, I didn't even pick up much of the gravel, so we'll check the gravel back down, and I'm realizing that I can actually just chuck this stuff straight vertically down, and that'll work perfectly. So I decided to do it a little bit more of a tedious way, but you know, it's okay. You live and you learn. And we've got our torches still, which will go in our offhand. Actually, our torches will go here, and our apples will go there. And now we're gonna grab the rest of the gravel, and since we can just chuck the gravel straight down, we'll do exactly that. And I'm gonna grab some stone, some cobblestone over from here, in order to fill up those gaps, because I just don't want to have to deal with the small gaps that end up making us pick up all the stuff in these corners. So I'm just gonna fill them. I have to break you, you know, it's fine, don't worry about it. You're just gonna go right there. Yeah, it looks perfectly fine, exactly. I'm glad they understand, you know? And I can't really see what's happening with that, but what I can see is that if I go here, we're going to pick up nearly everything. Most of it's going to be lapis, because why would it not be? And now what we can do is we can just keep running over here, grabbing everything. We don't want our stuff to burn, so I'm going to make sure that we go back quick enough, and then I've got to consolidate all this stuff into its most compact form, which for a lot of this stuff is going to just be like iron ingots and then lapis blocks, because otherwise this is going to take up way too much space. Anyway, we sort it up real quick, then we just get everything out. And iron nuggies. Holy, that's a lot of iron nuggets. Shoot. That's actually kind of insane. We've got over 2 stacks of iron ingots worth of nuggets. And then even more of that of lapis. Hopefully compressed lapis is a thing. I don't fully know. Is it though? I mean, we're about to find out, so. Compressed lapis is not a thing, so I'm gonna have to make drawers for them, I guess. But I think there's even more stuff to pick up, and there was. Wow. That's kind of absurd to me, but you know, at least we'll be able to consolidate most of the stuff. For example, we consolidate the flint into a block and a half from a full row, which is perfect. Then all these iron nuggets should be able to collapse into 2 things, which is perfect. Then I think cinnabar and apatite, I definitely know, can consolidate to blocks. Cinnabar should be able to. Actually, that looks gorgeous. Cinnabar blocks are going to be perfect for building. Then we've got ourselves some copper, which we're going to need a bunch of in the future, but for the most part, or 1.3xing is not going to be worth it in the long run for this, so I'm not going to save it for smeltery stuff. It's just not worth it. I don't care. We get enough infinite resources from literal cobblestone as is, so we're just gonna not have to worry about it and just consolidate everything into blocks, which already this is looking quite absurd. I'm gonna consolidate it as much as possible though, because we are going to need more. And for that, we've got all this stuff, which I guess since we're building our Tinker stuff this episode, we might as well go through and make ourselves the part builder, part station stuff. So let's get that taken care of. So we're going to need in total, probably, that should be enough patterns. So we get ourselves a part builder, and then we get ourselves crafting station. And it's a crafting table with that on top. No, it's not. Tinker station. Oh, yeah, it's, I forget they changed it because it's the log on top that's the crafting station, but it's the Tinker station that you need. Anywho, we're gonna build this thing over in this dripstone area. So I want to make sure to harvest the dripstone. I'm gonna need to grow dripstone, so I'm gonna collect all this for future use. And then we're just gonna, you know, hollow out 5x5 area. So let's just do that real quick. Well, that was made incredibly easy by use of the other kind of diamond hammer, which essentially just hollows out areas for practically nothing. So now that we've got the area hollowed out, I'm gonna need to actually, before that, I need to make sure to get the bottom hollowed out a little bit so that we can get an actual smeltery in here at some point. And then to the side, we'll put the crafting station, part builder, tinker station. Now from here, it's mostly just going to be grout stuff. So let's go grab ourselves. Most of our seared bricks are going to be done. We're going to just grab all that stuff. And from here, we should be able to make ourselves seared faucet. I only need 3. Seared basin. I only need 1. Seared tables. I'm going to make exactly 2. Then we're going to need ourselves some copper. So of these, I think it only works 1 at a time. Yeah, it's 1 at a time, so I'm going to need 2 total seared drains. Then from there, I'm going to need a seared heater. Then I guess I need some sand, which should be in here. And I'm going to grab 16, 20 pieces of sand. Half of which is going to go into that diamond furnace, half of it's going into that diamond furnace. And that's going to make us the stuff for the fuel gauge, which it's going to take a second. Or meanwhile, we can just grab all these seared bricks out of the iron furnace eye, and then harvest some wood real quick. And then, well, I guess since that's done, we can take those guys. Then we're going to craft up seared fuel gauges for those. And then I think we need a seared melter, which is just a fuel gauge with that. And then the smeltery controller is just seared bricks. So for that, you know, actually, we'll go 6 seared faucets, and then we'll make an additional 2 seared basins and 1 seared casting table because we can. So we have the materials for it. There's no reason to skimp out on that, you know? We also need to make sure to save 4. And we need 1 more thing of copper because we need a total of 4 more of these guys. So let's just go like that real quick. Get our seared drains. Then from there, we can just craft all this up into seared bricks. So now we've got that. Then what happens is you take your seared heater, seared melter, a seared faucet, and a seared casting table, as well as 4 ingots of copper. 2, 3, 4. So 4 total ingots of copper. You take your seared heater, you take your seared melter. Seared heater, you're gonna need to put some source of fuel into your seared heater. For this instance, this is going to be coal. Then you chuck in your copper. Then you put your seared faucet on the side, your seared casting basin on the side. Then you put a seared bricks into the seared casting basin. You chuck your 4th copper in. You can start pouring the rest of the copper into your seared casting basin. Wait for that one to finish off. Then you pour that in. Then from there, as this is getting constructed, you can actually tear down your seared heater, seared melter, and your seared faucet, because you no longer need them where they are right now. And then now, you've got your seared casting basin with a smeltery controller in it, which then you can collect. And let's see if we are doing this all in line. So, we need a cast already. Cast before smeltery controller. Okay, interesting. I guess what I can do for that is just make some blank casts, and that'll count. Because I mean, okay. That doesn't really do much, which is another thing. So what you want to do before you make casts is you actually want a smeltery first, but you know, they want you to do it a different way, and that's okay. I'm gonna need to change some stuff up though. So what you're gonna want to do for your smeltery is you start with your entire bottom being that and that. Then you go smeltery drain, smeltery chain. Of course, this can also be a smeltery drain. So what we're gonna do for this side is this side's gonna be the fuel gauge, fuel gauge, fuel gauge. That's going to be that. We're gonna actually grab this cobble. It's gonna go all the way up because I don't believe in wasting space. So what we're actually gonna do, you know what? We're gonna save this corner. Actually, this corner is gonna be useful for me because I'm realizing that I need it. So we're gonna go 3 high for this guy. Then you go 1, 2, 3. And where did the last of the drains go? Wait, where did it? Actually, oh, went on top of the torch. It's very confused for a moment there. Anyway, so I guess in this instance we'll put the drain here as well, just so it's going the right direction, and then we will go like so. And you can, of course, make seared windows. I don't like to do that. I think it doesn't look great, so instead what we're going to do is we're going to hollow out a little bit more of this area, just so that we have the space that I think that a smeltery really kind of requires, which more is an aesthetic thing, but also, like, I don't know, it just feels better when you have the space that you should have. Like, I don't know, it just feels a lot better, in my personal opinion. Of course, that is an opinionated thing. So anyway, then what we can do is we go and we dig out all this area, and I may have actually made too many for the stuff that we actually have access to, so I did. So that one's not super useful. I guess we can scrap it. And the way to scrap things for the smeltery is, since this is actually assembled, we can just take stuff out there. But that is actually just how it's going to be recycled. Same with the seared melter and seared heater. They're just going to be recycled directly in the smeltery, so there's no reason to move them out at all. And an additional thing that we can do while we're here is, since I made this 5 high, we can actually just build the smeltery complete to 5 height, because as long as it is below 64 blocks high, it's perfect. So you can build it 64 blocks high, you can build it, theoretically, you can build it as high as you really want, but I don't recommend that. It just doesn't feel perfect, but yeah. And then I think I actually do like the dripstone accents for this, so I'm gonna do that. I gotta make sure that we save enough dripstone for the full dripstone thing, but we should have plenty for barely getting around the accents. Not even. I don't even have enough. So we gotta at least save a little bit. So I can go like that and like that. But we can save these 2 for future, and then that can go there, I guess, for now. But that is essentially how you build a smeltery. We're gonna put, I guess I'll put the, shoot. Also, make sure you watch out where you're digging, because you can just dig through the small gaps in the seared things. Like, I just accidentally dug through that gap because I wasn't paying attention. But in addition to that, you also gotta fuel it with lava, ideally. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make ourselves some more fire plows and grab ourselves some buckets, and we're going to fire plow. So the fire plow only works vertically down. So you have to go down like so, joink, and then joink, and then joink, and then joink. And it works perfectly for getting just an amazing amount of lava, but I would also recommend taking your time because you don't want to overdo it. So now we've got, of course, quite a bit of lava, but we can over fire plow everything. And if you overdo it, then you will accidentally start to burn things down, and that's not fun, because burning things to the ground is a little lame. So make sure you don't do that. And I say that because I accidentally did that earlier, and that was dumb. And I had to I had to go to a backup because I left the lava alone, and it burnt down every piece of wood inside this entire area, and that was not great. Just like that. See, that's what I'm saying. Also, it will burn the glow lichen, and then you don't have glow lichen anymore, and glow lichen looks pretty dope. So just be fully aware of the things that you're causing, potentially. Anyway, we're gonna fire plow 2 more sections, of course, because we gotta use an entire fire plow, so don't have it just sitting around in an area, because then we're going to use it, and then we're gonna make mistakes with it and be done with it. So we're gonna grab you guys, we're gonna chuck everything back into here as it belongs. Chuck that coal back in there. We got our oak trapdoor, which is gonna go back there. And now, of course, we smelted that down. We've got our seared stone, which, of course, is mostly going to go out here. We've also got copper in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to pour out the 4 blocks of seared stone. Of course, what I like about the REI thing is it gives you how long it's going to take to cool down, which is perfect. It gives you, like, an actual timer, which I'm really happy about. I wish that other things would have that implemented for like the time's sake and everything, but anyway, we're gonna then craft that back into seared bricks, and everything is as it should be. Now, for the cobble gens, to get tier 2, you need 4 blocks of seared stone onto the tier 1 cobble gens. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a half a stack of stone. Oh, shoot, it doesn't work like that anymore. I forget. Because they changed it. So as of now, seared stone is not actually gotten by that. I keep forgetting that. Well, at least we've got another stack, and then gravel. Good, good. There's always a stack of gravel in there, which is perfect. So we can take, and now we got 2 stacks of grout, which can get just chucked in here, because a lot of it can get chucked in there, which is perfect. Then we can go and we imprint a seared brick, imprint a seared brick, imprint a seared brick, and these are all going to be, that's how you do normal casting. And when you pull back, of course, it turns it into a blank cast, which are kind of useless, so I'm actually just gonna throw that into the water pool where I throw away things, because there's no reason to continue to hold on to them. Because the way you actually make real casts is you take gold, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna just make a bunch of casts. So we're gonna take half a stack of gold, and that's gonna be able to make most of the casts that we need. Then we're gonna take 1 ingot of that, 1 ingot of you. So that's ingots, that's that. Blocks are easy. We'll take a nugget. And then we can make everything else really that we need on the actual part builder out of stone. So we can make our tool bindings, we can make our tool handles, our pick head, our repair kits, our round plate, our small axe head, our small blade, our tough handle, our large plate, our broad axe head, our broad blade, our hammer head, and I'm actually going to need that crystal chest from over there to store this stuff after I end up using it to make casts. Because we're going to take that. Of course, we got a bunch of seared stone in here now. Seared stone is all for the cobble gens. Everything else is going to get gold casted. So I keep forgetting I need to go through and do the nuggets, the ingots, nugget, ingot, gem. Those guys are going to go first, but then we're doing cobble gens. So cobble gen, and cobble gen. These guys, for the most part, they're just going to get chucked into there. But now that we've got that, of course, the buffers are going to go down a little bit, but overall it's not a big issue whatsoever. Those guys will just end up in that chest. And from here, we got 5 cobble gen tier 1s, all of which are just going to get chucked in here, turned into cobble gen tier 2s, which is perfect. Of course, we're going to chuck the gold in there, which should go relatively quickly. And we're probably going to need a lot more seared stuff over time, so I'm probably going to end up making this taller. So I'm just going to chuck the grout in here because it will be a lot quicker. And that guy, those are all taken care of. Now we got the cobble gen tier 2s. Once those are fully poured, because it's going to be 4 full buckets, or blocks rather, which is quite a considerable amount. Just got to wait for it to fully pump in. And then we'll be able to switch over to the gold and start doing that. So now we can switch over to gold and start, gold? Okay. Is there no gem cast? How do I... Okay, does emerald not count as a gem in this instance? Molding. Gem sand cast. Okay, will it work over here? No, it will not. So, I guess I can't make a gem cast using that. I will have to actually sand cast it, but I'm not going to grab that one because that one's disgusting. So we're going to grab you. So I have to gem cast it this way? Okay, I'm very confused. Molding, emerald to gem cast, but if I go regressions, okay, maybe it's just being weird and I just need a different kind of gem. I don't know, will a diamond work? Like, yeah, okay, well that just worked instantly, so maybe I'm just weird then. Okay, you know what, fine, if that's how you want to make me feel, fine, okay, you know what, I'm unhappy, I'm sad, why have you done this to me? Okay, fine. And now we need iron, gold, and diamond of all those guys. So I'm going to finish making these casts, and then we'll take care of that. Oh, we're on the last set of casts. This is, of course, incredibly quick, which is great. So we can just take care of that. And there's 1 block, 8 ingots left in there. So what we do is we then take the ingots. It goes there. Of course, we can take other stuff, but it's going to take a lot longer if we don't just do it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that other gold ingot, and we're going to make 3 total ingot casts, and then pour out the ingots into them to get the ingots out even faster. And then we have multiple ingot casts, which means that it's going to go a lot quicker. But there we go. Now we've got our casts set up. And now the rest of that stuff is going to go into here. Of course, we're going to need the iron, the gold, and the diamonds. So we go then cobble gen tier 1, cobble gen tier 2. We need to pour iron, gold, and then diamond onto there. But I guess to get the diamond, we're going to need to get the temp to blazing blood, which means we're going to need to get blazes. So that's not going to be possible yet, so we're going to only be able to get it to gold for now, which I mean, I guess is okay, but for 4 blocks for each iron one, 4 blocks for each gold one, so 20 total blocks for each, which is quite a bit, actually. Wow, okay. So 20 blocks of each, which of course it will smelt considerably quicker if you go in ingot form. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to smelt it, you want to do it in ingots as opposed to it taking longer, which will use more of your fuel. Of course, it's not perfect either way, but we need blocks. There we go. So we pour that on, then it will give us more iron overall, and then it'll go in, and then it'll pour out more. This will probably empty out before the next set goes all the way complete, but That's okay, because it does mean that it's gonna happen. So then we get iron, all that getting poured out. A loot bee spawned. So the loot bees are very interesting because of how they seem to work. And the way that is they are very confusing. And I say that completely understanding that they're just wanting to be the way that they are. But overall, the way that they work is they just start summoning things to them. And, you know, that's cool and all, but it also leads to just finding interesting ways of exploiting them, but also not being able to exploit them because of just them wanting to drop things in random places. So, like, the bee just came out, it gave us 2 crystal chests, and I think some gold, but I don't actually know. But overall, I'm just left confused because it didn't give any answers. It just flew away. And you know what? That's okay. It's just confusing. But we should be able to actually fully get through all this stuff. So come on now. We get that. Then we get the gold, full tier gold, which is going to be the highest real tier that we can accomplish right now. I think I am going to need the ingot casts though, which we're going to leave default here. Yup, so we've got that, and then we've got 2 ingots remaining, which is exactly what I thought. That's why I prepared 2 ingot casts. Perfect. So then what we have now is we can put that there, that there, that there, and I'm going to make a bank of the millstones going into that, just so we have infinite more loot. And I think we're actually going to end this episode here, because this episode's been a long one. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, or if you understand what I did and how I did it and want to do it yourself, then give it a try. It's kind of fun. It's kind of nice. But, yeah, stay tuned for next episode, because there's a bunch of stuff that we got to go through. There's a lot. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. GG's. Peace. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.